Have you ever noticed the strange paradox of life? The more desperately you chase after something, the more it slips through your fingers. You give it everything. You run after your dreams. You push and pull and strive. And yet, they drift further away, like shadows at dusk. But here's the quiet truth. The moment you stop chasing, everything you longed for starts moving toward you, without force, without struggle, just naturally. It's like a magnet. The harder you try to attract it, the more it resists. But the moment you let go, it comes to you. Or picture a plant in a garden. You water it, you care for it. But if you're constantly hovering, forcing it to grow, you only smother it. True growth happens when you give space for the process to unfold. This is the hidden strength, trusting the rhythm of life, letting go of tight control, and allowing what's meant for you to arrive in its own time. You stand at a crossroad. Do you force and pressure, or do you allow and receive? And the shift happens when you release the inner resistance. That's when flow begins. That's when desire transforms from anxious grip into magnetic calm. But how can we desire without obsession? How can we want something deeply without clinging, without fear, without micromanaging every detail? That's what this journey is about. By the end of this video, you'll discover the most vital element that changes everything. But for now, let's begin with the first step. Step 1. Release expectations. One of the deepest inner transformations you can make is learning to release your attachment to how things should happen. We often fixate on outcomes, a new job, a relationship, a personal goal. It seems logical. The more we focus, the more control we gain. But that's the illusion. The truth, the more obsessed you are with the result, the more tension you create within. When all your focus is on the end, you miss the present. You stiffen. You begin to operate not from inspiration, but from fear. The real power lies in returning to the process, to the daily steps, to your inner state, to the now. Lose yourself in the chase for the future, and the moment before you dissolves. Every move becomes frantic, like you're wrestling not with life, but with yourself. Peace comes when you do your best and trust that it's enough. Obsessing over when and how your desires will come true only breeds anxiety. Instead of being present, you spiral in uncertainty. Instead of being clear, you try to control what can't be controlled. But when you release the grip on the outcome, something shifts. Your energy no longer feeds fear. It feeds action. It flows into calm. You begin to move, not with panic, but with purpose. Your strength returns the moment you shift focus to what's within your power, your choices, your reactions, your alignment with the moment. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "Don't seek for things to happen as you wish, but wish for them to happen as they do, and your life will flow smoothly." This isn't passivity. It's trust. It's not giving up. It's choosing to show up without resistance to what is. Happiness, true happiness, isn't found when life unfolds exactly as planned. It's found when you embrace life as it is, without demands, without expectations. Just presence. All that's meant for you comes not when you grasp for it, but when you make space for it. When the noise quiets, the signal comes through. Instead of constant anxiety, you discover a softness, a lightness, the kind that lets you fall in love with the process itself. Yes, there are times when you give it your all and nothing seems to move. That's when you must stop asking, "Why hasn't it happened yet?" and start asking, "Am I showing up daily in ways that bring me closer to it?" That shift in focus can open doors you never saw before. When you stop obsessing over deadlines and outcomes, opportunities begin to reveal themselves, quietly and often unexpectedly. To release expectations, remember 3 simple shifts. First, focus on the doing, not the proving. Pour yourself into the process. Let results unfold on their own schedule. Second, release the perfectionism. Let go of the need to get it just right. Allow yourself to be human and life to be spontaneous. Third, stay present. Don't get lost in imagined futures. Trust the current moment, and the current will carry you. Step 2. Master your thinking. This next step takes us deeper into the mind because real transformation starts in consciousness. Every day, we're bombarded with distractions, fears, and noise. But there is one thing that always remains within your control: your thoughts. Your thinking shapes your perception, and perception creates your experience. A clear, focused mind can find solutions effortlessly. A chaotic mind only adds fuel to the fire. Mastering your thoughts isn't about denial. It's about clarity. It's not about pretending problems don't exist. It's about facing them with inner steadiness. Life won't always be easy, but how you respond to its challenges determines your path. When the mind is clear, new paths appear. Creativity awakens. Inner strength rises. You stop reacting from fear and start acting from stillness. That's the turning point. The Stoics knew this. As Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. A simple sentence, but a profound compass. Because the way you think not only shapes your behavior, it shapes how you live. Every moment of your life, happiness doesn't come from what happened. It comes from how you see it. And when you master your thinking, you shape your own reality. If your mind is filled with doubt, fear, and negativity, then even the smallest task feels like a mountain. The world appears hostile, and peace seems forever out of reach. But if your thoughts come from clarity, confidence, and focus, everything becomes simpler. Less resistance, more flow, more strength. There's a pivotal moment in life when you stop being ruled by anxiety and start ruling your thoughts. When you shift from obsessing over what could go wrong to directing your focus on what is within your grasp. That's when fear fades. That's when invisible walls collapse. New possibilities emerge. Life becomes less about bracing for the worst and more about creating the best. Challenges no longer feel threatening. They feel like invitations to grow, to evolve, to become more. This is the real inner work. So, how do you master your thoughts? First, awareness. Begin noticing what you're thinking. Are your thoughts uplifting or are they draining you? Second, perspective shift. Instead of thinking, "This is too hard," say, "This is a challenge I'm strong enough to face." Third, stay present. Focus on what you can control, right here, right now. The rest, let it go. In the end, a calm and focused mind becomes your greatest asset. When you manage your thoughts, you manage your life. You begin to attract clarity, solutions, people, moments of alignment, and most importantly, you begin to feel a deep inner steadiness, the kind that cannot be shaken by external noise. The Stoics believed this was the foundation of freedom. A disciplined mind creates a liberated life. They weren't trying to escape reality. They were training themselves to live fully within it with strength, grace, and depth. Step 3. Trust the timing. Now, we explore a principle that transforms not just your mindset, but your entire experience of life. The principle of right timing. In our modern world, everything is fast. Faster goals, faster results, faster everything. But speed often blinds us. The more we rush, the more we miss. Hurry breeds mistakes. It causes us to overlook subtle cues from life, tiny clues, signs, synchronicities. Sometimes, in our race to the goal, we run right past the turning point. we were meant to take. The truth is, most of the deepest growth doesn't happen while you're doing. It happens in the stillness. In the pause, when things appear quiet on the surface, great shifts are happening underneath. In those still moments, you begin to evolve. That's why trusting the timing of your life is not weakness, it's wisdom. When you trust the pace of life, you're not wasting time. You're making space. Space for the right things to unfold the right way. Not only for you, but for the bigger picture of your journey. Everything arrives when you are ready to receive it. And here lies the real challenge. Most people have been conditioned to expect instant gratification. We want immediate feedback, quick validation, fast results. But some things can't be rushed. Wisdom takes time. Healing takes time. Deep relationships take time. Mastery takes time. Imagine planting a seed. If you try to pull the sprout up by force, you kill it. But if you nurture it with patience and give it space, it blooms on its own. You don't need to force it. You simply need to allow. This is where the wisdom of the Stoics meets the rhythm of life. Epictetus reminded us, no great thing is created suddenly. This isn't just a phrase, it's a compass for living. Anything truly meaningful, success, maturity, growth, resilience, doesn't appear overnight. It emerges when the conditions are right and you are ready. So how do you live in harmony with time? First, release the need to control when. Not everything needs to happen now. Second, shift your focus from results to personal growth. Build, deepen, strengthen your foundation. Third, be patient. Really patient. Every season has its moment, and trying to rush it only leads to disappointment. Step 4. Act with intention, not from desperation. It's easy to fall into panic when it feels like time is running out, when you're so close to success, but it keeps slipping away. In those moments, desperation starts whispering, do something, anything. You begin to act from fear, from urgency, from pressure. But here's the truth. Desperation pushes success away. Actions born out of panic create confusion, mistakes, missed chances. True success doesn't come from chaos. It comes from calm, grounded action. Not from those who sprint blindly, but from those who move with focus and quiet confidence. You don't need to race ahead to outdo others. You simply need to walk with clarity in the direction of your truth. When you act with intention, every step carries power. People feel that. They feel your grounded energy, your steadiness. Desperation, on the other hand, is always obvious. It leaks into your tone, your choices, your presence. It doesn't inspire trust, not in people and not in life. And so, the Stoic voice speaks again. Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. That's the essence of intentional action. Start with inner clarity. Who are you? What do you value? What are you walking toward? Then act. From that place, from that center, when your actions align with your values and vision, you stop chasing. You start attracting. Your movements become focused, not frantic. You're no longer driven by fear. You're guided by purpose. So how do you shift from desperation to intention? First, define your values. Who are you becoming? Second, trust the process. Take one step at a time without forcing outcomes. Third, move with quiet confidence. Let go of urgency and let your presence speak louder than your pace. Because when you act with intention, you don't need to push. Life begins to meet you halfway. Step 5. Let go of control. One of the most liberating lessons you can learn is that you don't need to control everything. We live in a world obsessed with control. Control over results, control over people, control over the future. But control is an illusion, and chasing it only creates more tension. We worry about what might go wrong. We overthink. We micromanage. We try to hold everything together, as if the universe will collapse if we loosen our grip. But here's the truth. Worrying about what's outside your power is a waste of life force. You can't control how others behave. You can't control the weather. You can't control every outcome, but you can always control your effort, your mindset, your attitude, your reaction. That's where true freedom lives. When you release the need to manage the outside, you create peace on the inside, because the tighter you cling, the more anxious you become. The more you loosen, the more life flows. Let go of control, and suddenly, you stop trying to fight reality and start dancing with it. Focus on your growth. Focus on how you show up. Focus on staying grounded when everything else is shifting. Because the less you try to dominate the external, the more inner power you gain. You're no longer burned out by trying to control the uncontrollable. Instead, you are energized by aligning with what is in your hands. That's the Stoic path. Epictetus once said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." This isn't a theory, it's a practice. Real freedom begins not when you conquer the world, but when you stop trying to. It begins when you stop fighting the river and start trusting its flow. So how can you let go of control? First, acknowledge that you don't need to control everything. You are not here to dominate the universe. You're here to coexist with it. Second, shift your focus inward. What's in your hands today? Your habits? Your mindset? Your energy? Third, give yourself permission to not know every answer in advance. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. When you stop needing to control everything, you create space. And in that space, strength arrives. A calm, steady, rooted strength. Not the kind that dominates, but the kind that aligns. Letting go doesn't lead to chaos. It leads to order. A deeper, more natural order. The moment you stop trying to bend life to your will, you begin to see the greater pattern, and it's far wiser than anything you could have scripted. Step 6. Embody abundance. Now comes one of the most powerful shifts you'll ever make, transitioning from scarcity to abundance. Most people live trapped in not enough. Not enough money, not enough time, not enough progress, not enough recognition. But what if the real change begins not by gaining more, but by realizing you already have enough? When you embody abundance, when you feel it within, everything begins to shift. You stop chasing. You start attracting. You stop begging life to give you more and begin realizing that much of what you seek is already present. This internal shift transforms your entire energy field. Scarcity focuses on what's missing. Abundance focuses on what's available. The moment you begin to see your strengths, your opportunities, your existing blessings, you open new doors. New ideas arise. New people enter. New paths unfold. When you feel rich inside, you carry yourself differently. You move with grace, with calm, with magnetism. You no longer act out of desperation. You act from overflow. This isn't about pretending. It's about perceiving. The Stoics understood this well. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Réelle abondance has less to do with what's in your bank account and more to do with what's in your heart. It's not about accumulating. It's about appreciating. You don't have to wait for some magical moment to feel fulfilled. You can feel it now. Because what if you're not actually missing anything? What if you've just been taught to look away from what's already here? So how do you shift into abundance? First, start with gratitude. What do you have right now that you once prayed for? Second, detach from outcomes. Trust that what's meant for you is already on its way. Third, live from fullness, not from lack. Act as someone who is already whole, already blessed, already enough, because the energy you radiate is what life reflects back to you. Step 7. Act and then release. Now we arrive at one of the most profound practices of living a calm, aligned, powerful life. Take action from your truth and then let it go. So often we get trapped in the illusion that effort alone brings results. We believe the harder we push, the faster life will reward us. We carry tension, we overwork, we obsess, and we tell ourselves, if I just try a little harder, it will happen. But the truth is simpler and deeper. Real progress comes not just from what you do, but from your state of doing. Effort without inner harmony breeds burnout, but intention, followed by surrender, breeds magic. This is the paradox of achievement. You must care deeply and simultaneously release your grip. You must act with all your heart and then step back without clinging to the outcome, because the more tightly you grasp, the more resistance you create. The more you relax, the more you allow life to unfold on its own rhythm. Success isn't born from fear. It flows from the combination of clear intent and quiet trust. The Stoics understood this beautifully. Seneca wrote, "Effort and patience will bring more than anxiety and tension." So act, but don't chase. Move forward, but don't force. Show up fully, then let go. Let go of the timeline. Let go of the shape. Let go of the pressure, because results never arrive just when you want them to. They arrive when you're ready to receive them, when your inner state is aligned, when your hands are open, and when your steps are steady. The universe begins to respond. Here's how to live this practice. First, focus on what you can do today. Make your moves from a place of intention. Second, trust the unfolding. You may not see results instantly, but seeds grow silently. Third, let go of the outcome. Hold the vision, but don't strangle it. There's a rhythm to this, a flow. It's not about doing less. It's about doing wisely. When your actions are clean, purposeful, and non-attached, life flows faster, not slower. Final reflections. Flow over force. You've now walked through 7 Stoic steps that don't just change your habits, they change your state of being. Not with noise, not with hype, but with truth, stillness, clarity. Let's remember what you've learned. Release expectations. Stop chasing outcomes. Anchor into presence. Master your thoughts. A steady mind. A steady life. Trust the timing. Everything unfolds. When you are ready to receive it, act with intention, not from fear. Let purpose guide your steps. Let go of control. You're not here to manage the universe. You're here to align with it. Embody abundance. Gratitude rewires reality. Fullness attracts more. Act and release. Move with clarity. Then trust the results to come. And through it all, remember this. Life is not a race. It's not a fight. It's not something to conquer. It's something to dance with, to listen to co-create. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not late. You are in process. You are growing. You are unfolding. And everything you truly desire. Peace, purpose, connection, joy. They are not far away. They are close, quiet, waiting for you to slow down enough to feel them. This is the Stoic art of living. Stillness over chaos, trust over fear, intention over noise. You don't have to push harder. You simply have to come home to yourself. Let go, be present, and allow life to meet you where you are, not through pressure, but through presence. Thank you for walking this path, not just listening, but feeling, remembering, realigning. Return to these truths as often as you need, because sometimes all it takes to transform a life is to relax into it. Everything you seek is already on its way, and the quieter you become, the more clearly you'll hear it knocking.